This tutorial is for section T1, Identify the direction a parabola opens, for Algebra 2. First, you'll notice in this tutorial that you have some that are graphs and some that are equations of graphs. So for the ones that are graphs, it really is as simple as just seeing the direction that the parabola opens. So don't overthink it, don't stress yourself out trying to get a different answer than the easy answer, which really is the right choice. So we can go through these first 5 super fast because it's just a matter of which way the parabola opens. So here you have your parabola and you can see it's opening down. I'm trying to do it with my hand so you can see that it opens down, right? So down, this one is opening to the right. You can also look at which way the arrows are pointing, and this one they're pointing down, this one they're pointing right. Here the parabola is opening up, and then number 5 is right. So for these first types of problems, you don't have to worry about the vertex, you don't have to worry about axis of symmetry, the directrix, nothing like that. You just literally look at the graph and see which way that it opens. So again, my advice for this type of problem is just don't overthink it, get the easy points. All right, once we get past number 5 on this page of examples, you'll see that it goes from the graphs to equations of graphs. So what I would do is I would pause the video and copy down these 4 things right here, and then I'm going to walk you through how we are going to use those, right? All right, so we're looking for if x is what's being squared, then the parabola is going to either open up or down. Then we'll look at the a. If it's a positive a, it's opening up. If it's a negative a, it's opening down. For parabolas that open right and left, you'll see that the y is being squared. And then to determine if it's right or left, right is going to have a positive a and left is going to have a negative a. So it may look a little confusing at first, but I'm going to walk you through what that looks like here, and you'll see that these problems are almost just as easy as those. All right, so here for number 6, we have y equals 9x squared minus 3. So the first thing that I told you to look for is if it's x or y that's being squared. So this one is set up as a y equals, and you can see right here that the x is being squared. So already we know it's either up or down, right? Because the y isn't getting squared, so we can cover up those answers, and our 2 choices, our multiple choice of 4, now just turned into a multiple choice of 2 answers. So now we look at the a, and the a is the coefficient in front of that x squared, right? So that coefficient here is a 9, but it's a positive 9. So if we had to decide between up and down, we look and we see that the a is positive, so this one's going to open up. So again, walking you through those steps, you see is it x or y that's being squared. So then you cut your 4 choices down to 2. Then you see if the a is positive or negative, right? And that will tell you if it's up or down or right or left. Okay, so let's look at number 7. Number 7 is a little bit longer, a little bit different, but we can still use the same process to find the answer. So this time we have x equals instead of y equals. So x equals 4 multiplied by y minus 2 squared plus 6. So the first thing I told you to do is to check to see if it's x being squared or y being squared. Well, you can see here that the x is not being squared, so you would think it's y. But if you look over here and you only see the y by itself, it looks a little confusing. You think, well, neither one of them is being squared. But remember that when something is in parentheses and then raised to a power, that exponent applies to both things inside the parentheses, just like the distributive property for something that's in front of it. So this y is actually squared, just like that minus 2 is being squared. So since it's y squared, our answer choices are now between right and left. So then we go back and we look at our a and see if our a is positive or negative. Since our 4 is positive, then it must be opening to the right. All right, let's look at a couple more examples. Number 8, y equals 1/17 multiplied by x plus 7 squared. So I checked to see what's being squared. It's an x. So it's either up or down. Then I check to see what's in front of that. That's our A value. 1/17 is positive, so it's opening up. All right, a couple more examples. Number 9, x equals 1/17 times y minus 6 squared minus 4. We see that the y is being squared, so it must be opening left or right. The 1/17 is positive, so between those two answers, we know that it opens right. Number 10, y equals 9x squared plus 6. X is being squared, so it's either up or down. The 9 is positive, so it's up. Number 11, x equals 6 times y minus 3 squared. So we see that our y is being squared, and our 6 is positive, so it's right. Number 12, x equals 1/9 y plus 3 squared minus 4. Y is being squared, and then 1/9 is positive, so this one also opens right. Number 13, now this is about as tricky as it gets in this section, because it's going to ask you to rewrite it to really be sure which way it opens. So originally this one was written as y plus 9x squared equals 0. So you would think you could just look at that x squared, say up or down, the 9 is positive, so it opens up, but you'll see that it's not in the correct form. So in order to get this answer correct, you've actually got to rewrite this as a y equals problem, because you see all of these before these. This problem have been x equals, y equals, x equals. So you want to have it in a form where it's either y equals or x equals. To do that, you would subtract 9x squared from both sides, which gives you a negative 9x squared on the right. So now, yes, we knew it was up or down, but once we put it in the correct form, that negative is in front of the 9, so we would say it opens down instead of up. So that one we had to rearrange a little bit before we got the correct answer. Number 14, y equals 4 times x minus 5 squared minus 3. The x is being squared. The a value, our 4, is positive, so it opens up. Number 15, y equals 1/5 x minus 6 squared minus 1. X is being squared, and 1/5 is positive, so it opens up. Number 16, x equals negative 1/2 times y plus 3 squared plus 6. Y is being squared, and then this is negative, so it's left. Number 17 is another one that we have to rearrange, just like number 13 was. Number 17, x plus 7y squared equals 0. We would subtract 7y squared from both sides, and then rewriting it in the correct form, we would have x equals negative 7y squared. Y squared means it's either left or right, and in negative 7 means that the correct choice is left. The last example, y equals 5x squared minus 30x plus 38. Okay, so x is being squared, so it's either up or down. 5 is positive, so up is the correct answer choice. So one more time, my advice for you is when you get to the easy ones, the ones that are just graphs, don't overthink it. If it opens up, up is the correct answer. When you get to the ones that are equations of graphs, right, then make this little chart, put it on a sticky note, put it somewhere in your notes so that you know what you're looking for. Which one tells you if it's up or down, or left or right, and then your A, your positive or negative, that'll give you your final answer. And then the last tip is if they don't have it in the correct form, don't forget to swap it over to make sure that, we would have gotten that one wrong if we said positive 9, but once we put it into that y equals format, it was a negative 9, and that's how we knew it was opening down. So don't forget to change any that don't look like they're in the right form to begin with. And that's it.